Tom O'Keefe, our movie man, Wolf on Wall Street, one to see, but not with the family, and clear out 3 hours of your day for it.
Well, 3.5 if you count the trailers.
3.5 if you count the trailers. Also, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Ben Stiller's latest project. Not so much. I think there's a lot of better movies to go out and see. Now, Grudge Match, Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone. Is this not a Saturday Night Live skit that's been blown up into a film?
Pretty much, except not as funny or good.
Or interesting. Good.
Yeah.
Well, here comes one of Tom's best reviews then.
It's just a shame because I really like the premise. It was kind of like grumpy old boxers, right? Like the men, not the shorts. And so I kind of like the premise in that you have the two actors who played, arguably the two most iconic boxers in film history, right? Raging Bull and Rocky, and they're going to go head to head, even though they're not playing those characters. We all know what's really going on,
Right.
And De Niro's character is even kind of modeled on Jake LaMotta in that he owns a restaurant and he's up singing and talking in front of the crowd like he's still famous, and so it's kind of they're both kind of like winking at what their past is, which is great, and it's just not very good. It's a shame. It's funny because you when you watch a movie like this and you kind of end up liking both characters, right? And you know that they're going to go head to head at the end. The whole movie's building up to the big. It's called Grudge Match, right? That's not a spoiler. You know that they're going to box each other at the end. And some of the most boring boxing ever committed to film.
Well, they both sport man boobs now. So I don't really see that being a big sports spectacular.
But, through the magic of editing, they could have made it a little bit more exciting.
Made them perky at least?
I don't know. Some CGI or something. Do what they did to all the chicks in Sex and the City. Put some of that, hazy glow focus on them or something.
Stallone got tassels on or those pasties? What is he sporting?
But it's just like normally you get to the end of a movie like this and you're like, oh man, I don't know who I want to win. And I got to the end and I was like, man, I don't know who I want to lose. Is there a way they can both lose?
They both wasted my time.
Yeah, because that would be awesome. I want them both to not get their dreams.
What about the acting? You've been rough on De Niro on this show.
Yeah, he was.
He phoned another one in, didn't he?
I don't know that I'd say phone. I think he was relatively committed to it. It just wasn't that good,
What about Stallone and his all the breadth of acting character he can deliver?
Yeah, I mean,
what?
That's not an impression. He's having a stroke. Someone call 911. Yeah, he's given 2 good performances. The original Rocky.
And the original Rambo.
And Copland. I was going to say Copland, but he was good in that. But
anything redeeming about this at all?
No. I mean, it's just such a if it wasn't for the fact that it was these two together, one, it wouldn't exist. You know what I mean? It would cease to exist.
So the fight scene, are they just beating each other with their canes? Or?
Yeah, it's just it's just very slow paced and it's edited slowly too. I was like, wow, this is really not very intense. And you would think that between the two of them, they would know how to make a boxing movie. I mean,
yeah,
with Raging Bull and there's 45 Rocky movies. Well, there's 6 of them, right? So. And those were pretty good for the most part. Rocky 1's amazing, 2's solid, 3's a cartoon but has its own charms, 4 is even more cartoony, 5 let's not talk about, 6 I thought was solid. I enjoyed the Rocky comeback movie, but this is not that.
All right, so Grudge Match, don't bother. Probably not even on DVD. Don't bother.
I was thoroughly bored. It's bad when you're an hour into a movie and you're just like, would anybody mind if I played Candy Crush?
Just turn the sound off. No one's going to know, sitting back. All right, before we go, Tom O'Keefe, how about a movie that we haven't seen that we probably should have? Give us one of those hidden gems that you love to turn people
Sure,
on.
This is a movie that is very divisive. You either love this movie or you hate this movie. It's very odd and quirky, and you're either on its wavelength or you're not. That's not
Rudy?
No.
Okay.
This isn't a shot if you don't. I totally get why people might not like this movie. So this isn't a shot you didn't get it. It's a very kind of a weird movie. But Walter Mitty reminded me of this movie, And the whole time I was like, I really want to watch Joe versus the Volcano again. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Tom Hanks, Meg
No.
Ryan. But do not go to it expecting it to be a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie, which is why it failed initially, is people thought it was going to be this cute romantic comedy, and it's not. And it's about a guy who's in a dead-end job, and he finds out he's dying of some weird disease, and he decides that he's going to go throw himself into this volcano to help this weird tribe because they need to sacrifice somebody. It's a very odd, quirky movie. And just to give you an idea of the quirkiness of the movie, the disease that's killing him is called a brain cloud. So like that's kind of what they're doing, and it's just very weird. But all the stuff that Walter Mitty I felt wanted to do in terms of like the joy of the adventure of life, this movie captures it in a way that Walter Mitty did not. And so, but that being said, it's very quirky, and a lot of people just walk out of this movie hating it. But I loved it. And it's developed a solid cult following over the years, even though it failed initially. But if you can kind of get into its way of thinking and just let it be what it is, I think it's just a very fun, enjoyable movie.
ReviewSTL.com is where you'll find the Real Spoilers show with Tom O'Keefe, as well as archives of his film reviews that he's been doing for the last several years. The newly betrothed Tom O'Keefe. You don't sound any different now that you're a taken man.
I don't know. How should I sound?
I
Like,
don't
should my
know.
voice be higher, like I'm castrated or
Oh,
something?
it's so good to get out of the house. She gave me so much stuff to do.
No, she's not like that. That's why I'm marrying her.
Sure, they never start that way. 9:46. All right. Well, thank you much. And
Thank you, sir.
Next week, a regular scheduled program and our regular scheduled time then.
That sounds great.
All right, buddy. And in fact, I'll talk to you next year.
Never gets old.
We're in grade school all over again. Back in a moment on the Big 550 KTRS.